What if the very chemistry of your brain could be rewritten while you slept? Imagine drifting into dreams and awakening to a transformed self. Fears dissolved, power ignited, destiny unlocked. Tonight is not just sleep. Tonight is initiation. Welcome to the hidden path. Since the beginning of human memory, sleep has been viewed as a time of rest. Yet hidden beneath the veil of night lies a secret that science has only begun to glimpse and mystics have whispered for centuries. Your sleeping mind is not idle, it is alchemical. In the silence of slumber, neurotransmitters shift, pathways fire, and the blueprint of your reality is rewritten at a level deeper than thought. This audiobook is not merely a guide. It is a coded ritual, a sacred script designed to awaken dormant forces inside you. Each chapter carries the weight of an ancient key, unlocking hidden doors in your brain chemistry and subconscious programming. The transformations you will discover here are not gradual. They are terrifyingly instant, as though reality itself bends to the suggestion of your sleeping mind. Modern science calls it neuroplasticity, but the ancients understood it as dream sorcery, the ability to seed the subconscious with intention so powerful it alters the body, the spirit, and the destiny of the dreamer. Each night as you close your eyes, you stand at the gateway of unimaginable power, capable of re-scripting your beliefs, your emotions, even the very structure of your biology. This is your initiation into the hidden art. You will learn to step beyond passive sleep and into conscious creation, where chemistry becomes destiny and dreams become command. Do not approach this lightly, for once you glimpse what is possible, there is no return to the old way of sleeping. Prepare to meet yourself anew. The night is waiting. The transformation begins now. Chapter 1. The Forbidden Gateway of Sleep Chemistry. In the stillness of night, when your body surrenders to the weight of slumber, there lies a hidden threshold few dare to cross. To most, sleep is nothing more than recovery, a dimly lit pause in the grand theater of life. But those who have glimpsed deeper know another truth. Sleep is a forbidden gateway, a chamber where the chemistry of your very being can be rewritten in an instant. It is not a soft lullaby, but a roaring engine of transformation humming beneath the silence. The ancients, long before laboratories and brain scans, understood this mystery. They spoke in whispers of the dreamer's blood quickening, of secret fires within the skull that flared only at night. They carved symbols into stone to remind future generations. The chemistry of your mind is clay, and the night is the sculptor. Today, modern science gives these fires new names: serotonin, dopamine, melatonin. Yet these words barely touch the magnitude of what stirs within you while you dream. Each night your consciousness descends into hidden cycles where brainwaves stretch and fold like tides drawn by the moon. As you surrender to this rhythm, invisible messengers race through your neural pathways. Serotonin steadies your emotional seas. Dopamine paints visions of reward and possibility, while melatonin shrouds you in the velvet dark that allows rebirth. What most do not realize is this: these chemicals are not static forces. They can be commanded. They can be rewritten. And when you learn the hidden rituals of sleep, you unlock the power to sculpt your destiny not with effort, but with chemistry itself. Consider this terrifying truth. The suggestions you whisper to yourself in the minutes before sleep seep directly into your neurochemical matrix. A single thought of fear, resentment, or scarcity becomes not just a passing feeling, but a code impressed into your biology. By morning, your cells respond as though that thought were fact. And yet the reverse is equally instant. One suggestion of abundance, of strength, of radiant confidence transforms your brain chemistry overnight. Imagine this gateway as a vast cathedral hidden inside your mind, doors opening when the conscious guard finally sleeps. Every word you speak, every image you hold, becomes an offering placed upon its sacred altar. By dawn, the offering becomes your reality. This is why the ancients feared the night as much as they revered it. For if you drift into sleep with poisoned thoughts, they multiply unchecked, weaving themselves into the very architecture of your brain. And if you enter with intention, with sacred suggestion, then miracles are birthed while your eyes remain closed. Sleep is neither neutral nor passive. It is the most dangerous, most fertile space in which creation occurs. The forbidden gateway is not forbidden because it cannot be entered. It is forbidden because so few realize its power. To rewrite your chemistry in the sacred hours of night is to seize the tools of gods and alchemists. You become more than a dreamer. You become the architect of your soul, the engineer of your very biology. Every night offers you this invitation, and every morning shows you the result of the choice you made at dusk. Tonight you may choose to wander blindly, letting old scripts and hidden fears continue their quiet work. Or you may step through the threshold with awareness, understanding that as you surrender to slumber, you are entering the forbidden laboratory of the self. There, thought becomes chemistry, and chemistry becomes destiny. Your initiation has begun. Chapter 2: Neurotransmitter Alchemy. If the first secret of the night is recognizing the gateway, then the second is learning to command the forces that wait within. For in the silence of sleep, your mind is not empty. It is alive with fire, a living workshop where ancient alchemy continues unnoticed. The alchemists of old searched for a philosopher's stone, a way to transmute lead into gold. What they failed to realize was that the true stone lies within the human brain, and the true alchemy unfolds in the chambers of sleep. Serotonin, dopamine, melatonin, these are not just chemical names written in textbooks. They are living forces, spirits of biology that shape your destiny in ways you barely perceive. They determine whether you wake in despair or joy, whether your days feel like burdens or blessings, whether you shrink from the world or step boldly into its embrace. These messengers flow like rivers through the dark valleys of your mind, carrying with them the power to sculpt every thought, every choice, every perception of reality itself. The alchemy begins with melatonin, the silent gatekeeper. As daylight fades, this hormone rises like the moon, drawing you into the velvet corridors of sleep. To most, it is nothing more than a signal for rest. Yet in truth, melatonin is the sacred key that opens the workshop where all neurochemical magic unfolds. Without it, the other forces cannot be accessed. With it, the night becomes fertile ground for transformation. Once the gate is opened, serotonin takes the stage, weaving threads of calm, balance, and inner peace. It is the stabilizer, the quiet architect, that ensures the soil of your mind is prepared for planting. When serotonin flows freely, your emotional storms subside, leaving space for visions of joy to take root. This is why gratitude before bed is no mere ritual. It is a chemical invocation, a way of summoning serotonin's gentle hands to sculpt your inner world into harmony. Then dopamine enters, the spark of fire in the alchemist's crucible. Dopamine is vision, reward, desire, the thrill of possibility dancing in the dark. As you dream, dopamine weaves stories of triumph, of fulfilled desires, of futures so bright they seem to glow with divine fire. The images you hold in the minutes before sleep feed directly into this alchemy. Imagine yourself victorious, and dopamine encodes that vision into your neural circuits. Picture yourself broken or small, and dopamine will encode that as well. The formula is instant. The reaction cannot be avoided. Together, these forces do what waking effort cannot. They rewrite patterns not with strain, but with surrender, They sculpt reality not with external struggle, but with internal design. To master this is to step into the role of true alchemist, one who knows that sleep is not for escape, but for creation, not for forgetting, but for transformation. When you lie down tonight, you are not simply resting. You are placing yourself into the sacred laboratory where neurotransmitters await your command. The thoughts you choose, the emotions you ignite, the visions you feed them, these are the ingredients of your alchemy. By morning, they emerge as the new chemistry of your being, as though your very blood had been rewritten by Dreamfire. The question is not whether this process happens. It always does. The question is whether you will guide it or leave it to chance. Your alchemy begins tonight. Chapter 3. The Subconscious Switch. There exists a hidden lever inside the human mind, a switch that determines the very shape of your waking reality. By day, it remains guarded, buried beneath endless thoughts, worries, and the noise of the outer world. But at night, as your conscious self dissolves into stillness, this switch lies exposed, waiting to be touched. The ancients called it the hinge of destiny, and modern science glimpses it through the study of brainwaves, yet its true nature is simpler and far more terrifying. What you impress upon your mind at night becomes the truth you awaken to by morning. Your subconscious does not argue. It does not debate, nor does it question the validity of what you feed it. Like rich soil, it accepts every seed, nourishing it in silence until it sprouts as lived reality. This is why a single, anxious thought before sleep can multiply into a day filled with tension, and why one gentle affirmation can transform despair into radiance overnight. The subconscious switch is always on. The question is not whether it works, but what direction you turn it toward. Imagine your mind as a vast, dimly lit hall. During waking hours, countless voices shout, each demanding attention, each cluttering the air with distraction. Yet as sleep approaches, those voices quiet. The hall empties. The torches dim, and the echo of a single word becomes thunder. This is the sacred moment, the passage where suggestion bypasses resistance and enters directly into the heart of the subconscious. A whisper at this threshold carries more power than 1,000 declarations in daylight. Consider Eleanor, a woman burdened by years of self-doubt. Each evening she fell asleep replaying every failure, every slight, until her subconscious switch encoded these stories into her biology. Her mornings brought confirmation of her fears, not because fate was cruel, but because her mind had been instructed to deliver them. When Eleanor discovered the secret of the switch, everything changed. She began to plant different thoughts at night. I am worthy. I am radiant. I am enough. At first, they felt like fragile sparks in a storm, but as the nights passed, the sparks became flame, and by morning her reality shifted to match the fire within. This is the danger and the gift of the subconscious switch. Left to old patterns, it will replicate yesterday's fears again and again. Guided with intention, it will rewrite the architecture of your life in terrifyingly instant ways. To understand this is to hold the key to effortless transformation. For while daytime effort may chip slowly at the stone of habit, the subconscious switch can alter the entire sculpture overnight. In the language of science, this is neuroplasticity. Synapses rewiring as you sleep, old pathways dissolving, new connections forming in response to the stories you feed your mind. In the language of mystics, it is dream sorcery, the quiet alchemy of planting seeds in the fertile field of night. Both speak of the same truth. What you choose to impress upon your subconscious before sleep becomes the blueprint of tomorrow's dawn. The practice is simple yet sacred. As you prepare for rest, pause at the threshold where consciousness softens. Breathe deeply and gently hold one image, one phrase, one truth you wish to embody. Do not scatter your focus across many desires. Choose one seed and press it into the soil of your subconscious with quiet conviction. Feel it as real, see it as present, allow your body to respond as though it were already true, and then let go. For the switch does not require effort, it only requires clarity. Once the seed is planted, the subconscious will tend it without resistance, weaving it into your chemistry, your emotions, your perception of reality itself. Each night you face the choice: drift into unconsciousness, carrying the debris of fear, or step with awareness into the sacred laboratory of your own becoming. The subconscious switch is in your hands, and every morning your life reflects the position you left it in the night before. Chapter 4. Fear as Fuel. Fear has long been painted as the enemy, an obstacle to overcome, a shadow to banish, a weight to escape. Yet hidden within this dark force lies a secret few dare to touch. Fear is not weakness. Fear is power misdirected, raw energy waiting to be transmuted, and the hours of sleep hold the most potent furnace in which this transmutation can occur. By day, fear enslaves. It coils around your chest, tightening with every anxious thought. It paints illusions of failure and scarcity, convincing you to step back when life begs you to step forward. But by night, when the conscious mind releases its grip, fear can be reshaped into its opposite. Like molten metal poured into a new mold, the energy of fear becomes courage, vision, determination. Sleep does not erase fear. It refines it, turning poison into medicine. The ancients recognized this truth in myth and ritual. Warriors would dream of their battles before ever stepping onto the field, facing their terror in the realm of sleep until it transformed into fire in their veins. Today, science explains this as the amygdala rewiring during REM cycles, fear-based memories being reprocessed, integrated, and reshaped into resilience. Yet science cannot capture the mystery of the transformation itself, the moment when dread dissolves into strength, when the very energy that once paralyzed becomes the force that propels. Consider Julian, a merchant plagued by failure. His waking hours were filled with panic, each setback feeding a cycle of despair. At night, however, he stumbled upon a practice that changed everything. Instead of fighting his fear, he embraced it. As he drifted into sleep, he whispered, "This fear is fuel. This terror is energy. I claim its power." Within weeks, his body responded. His fear no longer froze him, but ignited him. His decisions sharpened, his courage grew, and the very force that once enslaved him became the engine of his success. Fear is raw energy. It is the thunder of your nervous system, the quickening of your heart, the surge of adrenaline flooding your veins. Left unchecked, it consumes you. Directed with intention, it becomes your most powerful ally. The secret is learning to meet fear in the sacred threshold of sleep, when its energy is most malleable, when the subconscious stands open like fertile ground. To practice this transmutation, do not flee from your fear at night. Instead, name it. Hold it gently as you would a burning coal, not to be destroyed, but to be placed into the furnace of your subconscious. Whisper to yourself, "This energy belongs to me. I reshape it into power. I rewrite it as strength." As you surrender to sleep, visualize your fear as a dark flame turning to gold, every spark fueling the blueprint of your becoming. By morning, your chemistry reflects this alchemy. Cortisol yields to dopamine, adrenaline reshapes itself into drive, and your waking self feels the energy once called fear now surging as confidence. The cycle of paralysis breaks. The shadow becomes ally. The dragon becomes mount. This is the terrifying beauty of fear. It was never meant to be destroyed, only to be redirected. Each night you have the chance to step into the furnace of sleep and refine your shadows into gold. Those who learn this art no longer dread fear's arrival. They welcome it as raw material for transformation. Fear is fuel, and in the crucible of night it becomes the fire that forges destiny. Chapter 5. The Shadow Scripts. In the deep corridors of your subconscious lie scripts older than memory. They are not words you remember writing, nor stories you consciously chose. They are the inherited whispers of childhood, the echoes of a teacher's criticism, the silent judgments of a parent, the shadows of experiences that once seemed insignificant but grew roots in your mind. These shadow scripts live quietly beneath the surface, yet they govern much of what you feel, believe, and attract. While you sleep, they rise to the surface, waiting to be rewritten or reinforced. By day, these scripts hide behind layers of logic. You tell yourself you are confident, yet a single challenge reveals the script of self-doubt. You dream of abundance, yet an unseen voice repeats scarcity like a curse. It is in the night, when conscious defenses lower, that these hidden programs reveal themselves most clearly. The tragedy is that most people drift into sleep unaware, letting the same shadow scripts replay unchallenged, deepening their hold with each passing night. But the truth is this: the sleeping mind offers the only true chance to rewrite them. It is in the silence of slumber that the scripts can be intercepted, dissolved, and replaced. What you speak and feel in those final moments before sleep becomes the ink with which your story is rewritten. Consider Helena, who carried a script etched into her by years of rejection. Though she worked tirelessly, her relationships withered, her career stalled, and her heart grew heavy. Each night as she lay in bed, her subconscious whispered the same lines: "You are unworthy. You are invisible. You do not belong." And her life obeyed. But when Helena discovered the ancient art of rewriting, she chose to plant new words at night. As she drifted into sleep, she whispered, "I am chosen. I am radiant. I am seen." At first, her conscious mind resisted, but sleep carried the new script deeper than thought. Within weeks, opportunities appeared, friendships blossomed, and her life began to mirror the new story she had sown. This is the terrifying power of shadow scripts. They do not need your conscious permission to shape your life. But it is also the sacred promise of nighttime programming. You do not need conscious struggle to replace them. The act of surrendering with intention before sleep is enough to redirect the story. Science calls this reconsolidation, the brain's process of reactivating and altering stored memories during sleep cycles. Mystics call it rewriting destiny. Both point to the same truth. Every night is a chance to erase old scripts and install new ones. Your subconscious, vast and unquestioning, does not differentiate between past and present. If you offer it a new narrative at night, it embraces it as though it has always been true. To begin, you must become aware of your shadow scripts. Ask yourself, what story plays quietly beneath my life? Is it a story of lack, of rejection, of failure? Listen closely, for these voices are subtle but persistent. Once identified, you must choose their replacement, not as desperate wishes, but as living truths. Write them, speak them, breathe them into your being as you surrender to sleep. Whisper, "I am loved, I am abundant, I am powerful." Feel these words as though carved into the architecture of your mind. The act of falling asleep then becomes not a descent into unconsciousness, but a ceremony of rewriting. Each night you place the pen into your own hand, erasing what no longer serves you and scripting what your soul has always longed to express. Every morning reveals the chapter you chose to write the night before. Shadow scripts dissolve, new truths rise, and the story of your life begins again, born from the sacred ink of the sleeping mind. Chapter 6. Dreamtime Neuroplasticity. Beneath the surface of sleep, your brain becomes a living forest of light. Neurons spark and weave, forming new pathways like vines stretching toward the sun. Old patterns dissolve like fallen leaves, while new connections bloom in silence. This hidden transformation is called neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to rewire itself. And it is most powerful in the dream time, when waking resistance has surrendered and the subconscious mind takes command. By day, your thoughts carve grooves in your brain, repeating patterns until they become habit. But at night, those grooves can be reshaped. Sleep is not passive rest. It is the most active time of creation. Your mind does not simply store memories. It reorders them, reorganizes them, and integrates them into the architecture of who you are becoming. This is why you often awaken with sudden clarity, answers to problems, or renewed energy. The night has rewritten your brain. Consider Samuel, a man trapped by cycles of fear. Every day he repeated the same patterns: hesitation, avoidance, retreat. His brain had wired itself for limitation. Yet when Samuel learned the secret of dreamtime neuroplasticity, he discovered he could use sleep to break free. Each night before drifting into slumber, he visualized himself taking bold steps, speaking clearly, acting decisively, walking with confidence. His dreams became training grounds, rehearsals for a self he had never dared to be. Within weeks, the pathways of fear weakened and the pathways of courage grew strong. Samuel awoke each morning feeling like a different man, not because of effort, but because his brain had rewired itself overnight. This is the terrifying beauty of neuroplasticity. Your brain cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Both leave the same imprint, the same neural signature. If you feed your mind fear before bed, your brain wires fear more deeply. If you feed it visions of strength, success, and joy, those pathways grow instead. Sleep magnifies whatever you choose to plant, turning fragile thoughts into hardwired truth. Modern science confirms what mystics always knew. During REM sleep, your brain strengthens certain pathways while pruning others. Like a gardener tending a field, it pulls the weeds of unused connections and nourishes the seeds that have been activated. This pruning and growth are not random. They follow the cues you give before sleep. Your final thoughts, your last emotions, your chosen imagery become the instructions your brain follows as it rewires itself. The practice is deceptively simple, yet profoundly powerful. As you prepare for bed, imagine yourself already living the reality you desire. See it vividly, engage all senses, and most importantly, feel the emotions as though it were happening now. Let your subconscious carry this experience into the dream time, where it is rehearsed again and again, forging new circuits in your brain. Each night you repeat this practice, you deepen the pathways until they become automatic, guiding your waking self effortlessly toward the life you designed. Dreamtime neuroplasticity does not require years of struggle or force. It unfolds naturally, silently, while you rest. But it demands awareness, for the brain will rewire itself regardless of what you feed it. Fear, doubt, resentment, all will be strengthened if left unchecked. But intention, vision, gratitude, these too can be encoded, transforming your mind into a map of your highest self. The dream is not fantasy, it is rehearsal, it is blueprint, it is the sacred workshop where your mind becomes new. Each morning you awaken as the sum of what you rehearsed in sleep, and every night you are given another chance to step into the laboratory of neuroplasticity, to prune away the past and sculpt the future with nothing more than thought and surrender. You are not a prisoner of your brain's old wiring, you are the architect. And the time of construction is now, in the hidden hours when the world grows silent and your sleeping mind rewrites the code of who you are. Chapter 7. The Mirror Neurons of Midnight. Deep within the architecture of your brain, exists a mysterious system known as mirror neurons, a silent network that awakens when you observe the actions, emotions, and presence of others. They are the reason you flinch when someone stumbles, the reason you feel warmth when witnessing love, the reason laughter spreads like fire through a crowded room. These neurons do not simply reflect the world. They program your body and mind to embody what you witness. And at night, when the conscious mind rests and the subconscious reigns, these mirror neurons become astonishing tools for transformation. By day, you are bombarded by impressions. Every glance, every word, every story seen on a screen or heard in passing finds its way into your nervous system. Your mirror neurons record and replay them, often without your awareness. If you surround yourself with fear, you reflect fear. If you live among despair, you embody despair. Yet if you align yourself with images of strength, joy, and mastery, your brain encodes those states as your own. This is why the ancients warned, "Guard what your eyes behold, for what you see, you become." At night, these recordings are replayed. Your subconscious, in its quiet workshop, sorts through the impressions of the day, wiring them into deeper patterns. But here lies the secret. You are not bound to passively accept whatever the day has given you. By consciously planting impressions before sleep, you can direct your mirror neurons to encode the traits, confidence, and energy you most desire. Consider Lucia, a young woman paralyzed by shyness. By day, she shrank from others, her voice barely a whisper. But one evening, she discovered a forgotten film of her grandmother, speaking with radiant confidence before a gathered crowd. That night, before bed, Lucia watched the film in silence, letting every gesture, every smile, every tone of voice imprint upon her mind. As she surrendered to sleep, her mirror neurons continued to replay the images. Within weeks, she found herself speaking more clearly, her posture straighter, her presence luminous. She had not forced herself into confidence. She had absorbed it. This is the power of mirror neurons. They cannot distinguish between lived experience and witnessed experience. What you behold with intention becomes what you embody. Sleep magnifies this process, taking the impressions you feed it and wiring them into the deepest recesses of your being. The practice is ancient, though science only now confirms its truth. Shamans would sit before statues of deities, absorbing their strength. Warriors would fall asleep listening to the chants of victory, imprinting triumph into their blood. Mystics would gaze upon sacred symbols before closing their eyes, allowing those images to replay in the theater of dreams. In every case, mirror neurons acted as portals, reflecting the sacred into the self. To awaken this practice in your own life, choose carefully what you feed your mind before sleep. A short clip of someone radiating the qualities you desire, a story of triumph read slowly and absorbed, even the silent act of visualizing a figure of mastery. All these serve as offerings to your mirror neurons. As you drift into sleep, the reflections deepen, encoding strength, beauty, confidence, and presence into your biology. By morning, subtle shifts appear. Your tone changes. Your gaze strengthens. Your movements carry new rhythm. You have not forced change. You have mirrored it until it became your truth. Every night you stand at a threshold. Will you carry into sleep the random impressions of the day, or will you consciously choose what you reflect and therefore become? The mirror neurons of midnight wait for your command, ready to sculpt you into the very image you place before them. Chapter 8. Chemical Anchors. The human mind is not only shaped by thought, but tethered to sensation. Scents, sounds, textures, colors, these become anchors that bind emotions to memory, weaving invisible threads between experience and state of being. A single fragrance can carry you back to childhood. A song can flood your body with joy or sorrow. The rustle of leaves may remind you of freedom, while the smell of rain may soften your soul into peace. These anchors, though often unconscious, are among the most powerful tools for programming the subconscious. And at night, when the mind opens like fertile soil, chemical anchors can be planted to rewire your entire reality. By day, anchors often control you without awareness. The scent of an old lover's perfume summons longing. The sound of a familiar tone sparks anxiety. Your brain, through its binding of chemistry and memory, leads you into states you did not consciously choose. Yet by night, the same principle can be harnessed deliberately, transforming anchors into sacred tools of creation. Consider Adrian, a merchant who carried the weight of constant failure. Each evening he collapsed into bed with the taste of bitterness on his tongue. One night, guided by intuition, he placed a single drop of lavender oil on his pillow. As he inhaled the fragrance, he whispered, "I am safe. I am prosperous. I am free." Night after night, the scent became tied to these affirmations. Weeks later, the fragrance alone was enough to shift him instantly into a state of calm and abundance. The anchor had been forged, and his subconscious obeyed it without question. Chemical anchors work because the senses bypass logic and speak directly to the limbic system, the seat of emotion and memory. Smell, sound, and touch enter the brain with direct authority, binding themselves to whatever thoughts or emotions accompany them. Sleep magnifies this binding. Whatever anchor you place in the sacred moments before slumber fuses with the subconscious blueprint being written in that hour. The ancients knew this. Temples burned incense not for beauty but for programming. Each fragrance was tied to specific states. Frankincense for spiritual connection, myrrh for healing, sandalwood for clarity. Chanting was not mere ritual but sound anchoring, binding mantras to peace, courage, or joy. Even the simple act of touching sacred objects before bed was an anchor, fusing the sensation of texture to the energy of transformation. To awaken this practice, choose one anchor, a scent, a sound, or a symbolic object. Before sleep, activate it with intention. Breathe the fragrance, listen to the sound, hold the object in your hands. As you do, speak or feel the state you wish to embody. Abundance, love, courage, peace. Let the sensation and the emotion fuse in your awareness. Then surrender to sleep, knowing the anchor has been planted deep. Each time you repeat the ritual, the anchor grows stronger, until eventually the mere presence of the anchor triggers the state instantly, without effort. The scent alone will summon abundance. The sound will ignite courage. The touch will flood you with peace. You will have trained your subconscious to respond automatically, binding chemistry to destiny. By morning, the anchor remains alive, waiting in your waking hours to be activated. And as you carry it into the day, you become a living temple, surrounded by symbols that command your mind into alignment with your highest desires. The question is not whether anchors exist. They already govern your life. The question is whether you will choose them consciously, forging sacred bonds that elevate you, or unconsciously, letting old anchors drag you back into shadow. Tonight you may begin anew. Choose your anchor, bind it to your intention, plant it in the fertile soil of sleep, and watch as chemistry itself bends to your will, carrying you toward the reality you have chosen to create. Chapter 9. The Phantom Synapse. Hidden deep in the labyrinth of your brain are threads of connection known as synapses, bridges where thoughts leap, signals fire, and reality itself takes shape. These synapses are sculpted by experience, yet they are not bound to what has truly occurred. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is physically lived. This is the secret of the phantom synapse. A thought rehearsed with enough intensity becomes as real to the brain as the memory of an event. And when this rehearsal takes place in the fertile silence of sleep, the phantom synapse blossoms into destiny. Each night, as you drift into slumber, your mind plays back fragments of the day, It rehearses conversations, relives emotions, and builds pathways around them. But what most do not know is that you can intervene. You can plant imagined experiences so vivid, so charged with emotion, that your subconscious encodes them as truth. To your brain, there is no difference between recalling a triumph and rehearsing one that has not yet occurred. Both carve the same pathways, both ignite the same chemistry, both prepare your nervous system to live the experience as though it were inevitable. Consider Dorian, a man haunted by failure in his work. Each day his nerves trembled when he spoke, and each night his mind replayed the humiliation. But when he learned of the phantom synapse, he chose a new ritual. As he lay in bed, he imagined himself standing before his peers, speaking with calm, commanding presence. He saw their eyes light up, heard the applause, felt the pride rising in his chest. Though these moments had not yet happened, his brain did not know the difference. Night after night, the phantom synapse grew stronger, and one day, standing again before a crowd, his body carried out the performance it had rehearsed in the dark. He no longer feared. He had already lived success in his sleep. This is the terrifying power of the phantom synapse. It does not require time, wealth, or opportunity. It requires only imagination carried faithfully into sleep. Athletes have used this without knowing its name, visualizing victory until their muscles responded as though the race had already been won. Healers have invoked it, imagining the body whole until cells obeyed the script. Lovers have summoned it, dreaming of union until their waking lives bent toward fulfillment. The phantom synapse does not discriminate. It obeys whatever story is rehearsed most vividly. But here lies the danger. Most people rehearse failure. They replay arguments, envision rejection, imagine worst outcomes until their subconscious encodes these phantoms as reality. And so life delivers them, not because fate is cruel, but because the phantom synapse has been built on fear instead of faith. The practice is sacred but simple. As you drift toward sleep, choose one experience you long to live. See it not as a distant hope, but as happening now. Engage every sense. See the light, hear the sounds, feel the air on your skin, the emotion in your chest. The more vivid the rehearsal, the stronger the synapse. Allow yourself to fall asleep with this vision alive in your mind, so that it may replay in dreams, strengthening the neural pathways until they feel more real than memory. By morning, subtle shifts begin. Your body responds as though prepared. Your decisions align as though guided. Opportunities appear as though magnetized. In truth, nothing magical has happened. The phantom synapse has simply become real, and reality must conform. Tonight, you hold this power in your hands. You can rehearse despair, or you can rehearse triumph. The phantom synapse waits, ready to encode whatever you choose. And as you surrender to the sacred night, remember this truth. What you dream as vividly real becomes the reality you wake to embrace. Chapter 10. Sleep State Suggestions. There is a sacred moment each night when consciousness drifts toward surrender, when the body grows heavy and the mind floats in twilight. In this liminal space, the door to the subconscious swings wide open, unguarded by doubt, unshielded by logic. What you speak, what you feel, what you suggest to yourself in this fragile moment passes directly into the deepest vault of your mind. These are the sleep state suggestions, the whispered commands that become the architecture of your reality. By day, affirmations often falter. The conscious mind debates them, resists them, rejects them as false. You may tell yourself, "I am abundant," yet a voice rises to argue, reminding you of debts and struggles. You may whisper, "I am loved," and a memory surfaces to contradict. But at night, as consciousness loosens, these guards fall silent. In that twilight descent, The subconscious listens with reverent attention. Whatever suggestion you place upon its altar, it accepts without question, weaving it into your chemistry and your destiny. This is why the final thoughts before sleep are the most important thoughts of your life. They are not idle musings, they are sacred commands. If you fall asleep replaying fears, your subconscious encodes fear as truth. If you drift into slumber with gratitude, with vision, with conviction, your subconscious obeys, sculpting reality to mirror the suggestion. Consider Miriam, who struggled with scarcity. Each night she fell asleep calculating bills, worrying about what might collapse tomorrow. Her days reflected her nights. Scarcity multiplied, opportunities slipped away. When she discovered the ritual of sleep state suggestions, she made a change. Lying in bed, she whispered, "I am provided for. I am prosperous. Abundance flows to me with ease." At first her conscious mind resisted, but she whispered until sleep claimed her. Within months, new clients appeared. Unexpected income flowed. Doors opened. She had rewritten her story not through effort, but through suggestion offered in the sacred hour. Science calls this auto-suggestion, a practice explored by thinkers like Émile Coué, who understood that repetition of belief imprints itself on the subconscious. Mystics call it invocation, the act of planting spells in the fertile ground of sleep. Both point to the same truth. Words whispered in twilight carry the power of creation. The practice unfolds as ritual. As you prepare for sleep, clear the room of distractions. Breathe slowly, letting the body soften. Then choose 3 suggestions only, no more. Speak them aloud or within, but speak them with certainty, as though they were already true. I am whole, I am powerful, I am loved. Let each phrase sink deep, repeating until your body vibrates with its truth. Then surrender, letting sleep carry these words into the vault of your subconscious. The beauty of sleep state suggestions is that they require no effort in waking life. They work silently, automatically reshaping patterns while you rest. Over time, the suggestions become reflex, not just beliefs, but instincts. Your chemistry shifts to match them. Your actions align with them. Your world bends to mirror them. But caution must be observed. The subconscious accepts all suggestions, whether chosen with intention or whispered by accident. If you fall asleep muttering despair, you program despair. If you drift with anger, you encode anger. Every night you are programming, whether aware or not. The choice is whether you will program by chance or by sacred design. The truth is terrifying in its simplicity. You are always whispering to your subconscious. Every sigh, every thought, every image before sleep is a suggestion. When you learn to command these whispers, you hold the pen that writes tomorrow. Tonight, let your words be sacred. Choose them with reverence. Speak them as though the universe itself leans close to listen, for indeed it does. And as sleep draws you into its velvet darkness, trust this. The suggestions you place upon your mind tonight will rise with the dawn as the reality you live tomorrow. Chapter 11. Reversing Emotional Imprints. Every experience you have ever lived leaves a trace, not only in memory but in the very chemistry of your body. Joy imprints warmth, sorrow carves heaviness, failure etches doubt, and triumph engraves confidence. These imprints are not fleeting. They become grooves in the nervous system, patterns that replay again and again. But while most believe these imprints are permanent, the truth is far more liberating. In the sacred hours of night, when your conscious guard dissolves, you can reverse them. You can unwrite the scars of yesterday and replace them with the blessings of tomorrow. Emotional imprints are like echoes. By day, they appear as instinct, the automatic responses that rise without your permission. A harsh word stings more than it should because it resonates with older wounds. An opportunity is ignored because failure once carved fear into your bones. These imprints seem immovable, like stone, but sleep is the sculptor that can soften stone into clay. Each night offers you the chance not merely to forget, but to reframe, to revise, to transform. Consider Isabella, whose childhood had been marked by rejection. Every relationship she entered carried the same shadow, an expectation of abandonment. Her subconscious replayed the imprint night after night until loneliness became her reality. But when Isabella learned of emotional reversal, she chose a new ritual. Each evening she recalled the same painful memory, not to relive it, but to rewrite it. She imagined her younger self embraced instead of rejected, loved instead of ignored. She held the image until sleep took her. Over time, her subconscious accepted the revision as truth. The scar softened. The imprint reversed. Relationships blossomed where once they had withered. Science calls this memory reconsolidation, the process by which recalled memories become malleable, open to change before being stored again. Mystics call it rewriting destiny. Both point to the same power, that by revisiting old wounds in the twilight state before sleep, you can release their poison and encode healing in their place. The practice is simple, yet sacred. As you lie in bed, allow an old memory to surface. Do not resist it. Do not judge it. Instead, bring compassion to it, as though holding a fragile child. Then gently begin to alter it. Add the comfort that was missing. See yourself victorious instead of defeated. Imagine the love that should have been present. Let these revisions flow until the memory glows with peace. Then allow sleep to claim you, carrying the revised imprint deep into the subconscious. The effects emerge slowly but undeniably. Old triggers lose their power. Painful memories no longer sting. Your body responds with ease where once it tensed with fear. By morning you feel lighter, as though years of burden have been quietly lifted. You have not erased the past. You have rewritten its meaning, and meaning is what shapes destiny. Each night you stand at the threshold of choice, to let old imprints replay unchallenged, or to reverse them, transmuting scars into strength. Sleep does not merely heal, it rewrites. And as you surrender to its power with intention, you awaken not as the prisoner of your past, but as the author of your becoming. Chapter 12. Lucid Alchemy. There exists a hidden art that turns dreams into workshops, visions into laboratories, imagination into reality. It is the art of lucid dreaming, knowing that you are dreaming while still within the dream. For most, dreams are fleeting shadows, experienced passively and forgotten by dawn. But for those who awaken within the dream, the night becomes a canvas, and sleep becomes the most potent form of creation. This is lucid alchemy, where thought becomes form instantly, where the subconscious is no longer a silent partner, but an obedient servant. In ordinary dreams, you are a wanderer, drifting through landscapes you do not control. But when lucidity strikes, everything changes. A single realization, I am dreaming, shifts you from subject to creator. In that moment, the laws of waking reality fall away. Fear can be dissolved with a breath. Mountains can be climbed with a thought. Desires can be lived as vividly as waking life. And more importantly, these dream experiences do not fade into fantasy. The brain records them as real, wiring them into the same circuits that govern waking behavior. Consider Chester, a man terrified of public speaking. By day his throat closed, his hands shook, his words faltered. But in his lucid dreams he stood before vast audiences, commanding the stage with ease. He practiced night after night, perfecting gestures, tone, and presence in the safety of the dream. Within months, his waking self carried the confidence rehearsed in dreams. The alchemy was complete, fear transmuted into mastery, dream rehearsals etched into waking reality. Lucid alchemy is not limited to skill. It reaches into every desire. In dreams, you can live abundance, love, vitality. You can walk the life you long for as though it were already yours. The subconscious accepts these experiences as truth, rewiring your chemistry and perception to match them. Each dream becomes a rehearsal for the future. Each lucid act a seed planted in the fertile soil of your being. The practice begins with intention. As you lie in bed, whisper, "Tonight I will awaken in my dreams. Tonight I will know I am dreaming." Repeat the phrase until sleep claims you. Imagine a light within your mind that will shine when you enter the dream. This light becomes your signal of lucidity, your reminder that the world before you is malleable, awaiting your command. When lucidity arrives, remain calm. The excitement of realization can awaken you too quickly. Instead, breathe deeply and stabilize the dream. Look at your hands, touch the ground, engage your senses until the dream grows vivid. Then begin your alchemy. Step into the life you desire. Feel the emotions, speak the words, live the experience fully, knowing that each moment imprints itself on your brain as real. By morning, the effects linger. Confidence flows where once there was fear. Joy rises without cause. Opportunities align with the reality rehearsed in dreams. This is not fantasy. It is the subconscious obeying the experiences you lived, regardless of whether they unfolded in waking life or the dream. Lucid alchemy is the most direct way to program your mind. It bypasses resistance, accelerates neuroplasticity, and engraves success with terrifying speed. Each night you have the chance to awaken within the dream and sculpt your life from the inside out. The question is not whether you dream, you do every night. The question is whether you will remain a passive wanderer or become the lucid alchemist, transmuting dream into reality, vision into truth, desire into destiny. Tonight the choice is yours. Chapter 13. Instant Confidence Induction. Confidence is not a trait reserved for the lucky, nor is it a skill built only through years of effort. Confidence is a state, a vibration encoded in the chemistry of your brain and the posture of your being. And like any state, it can be induced, summoned, installed in an instant, especially in the sacred hours of night when the subconscious is unguarded. Sleep is not merely rest. It is the stage where confidence can be written into your nervous system so deeply that you awaken already transformed. The mistake most people make is believing confidence must be earned. They wait for success, hoping victories will slowly build assurance, but this belief keeps them bound in hesitation. The truth is terrifyingly simple. Your subconscious cannot distinguish between a confidence lived and a confidence rehearsed. If you plant the right suggestions before sleep, your brain will encode confidence as though it were already your natural state. By morning, you embody it. Consider Marcus, a timid young man whose voice trembled whenever attention turned his way. By day, he tried to force himself into bravery, but each attempt collapsed under the weight of doubt. Then one evening, he discovered a ritual that changed everything. As he lay in bed, he closed his eyes and envisioned himself standing tall, speaking with power, radiating presence. He whispered 3 words as he surrendered to slumber. "I am confident." Night after night, the image deepened. The words etched themselves into his subconscious. Within weeks, Marcus found himself speaking more clearly, his posture naturally straight, his presence undeniable. He had not practiced bravery in the world. He had installed it in his sleep. The secret lies in the way your subconscious encodes suggestion. In the twilight state before sleep, your brain waves slow into alpha and theta frequencies, states of heightened receptivity. In this condition, affirmations are not debated but absorbed. Visualizations are not questioned but lived. The emotions you generate are imprinted as truth. By combining suggestion with imagery and emotion, You create a powerful triad that the subconscious accepts without resistance. To practice instant confidence induction, prepare a short ritual before bed. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and breathe deeply until your body softens. Then imagine yourself in a situation where confidence is needed most. Perhaps speaking before a group, walking into a room filled with strangers, or facing a challenge that once frightened you. See yourself embodying calm strength. Hear the sound of your steady voice. Feel the warmth of assurance in your chest. As you immerse yourself in this vision, repeat a simple phrase. I am confident. I am powerful. I am free. Allow the phrase to echo until your body vibrates with its truth. Then, as you drift into sleep, carry the feeling with you. By morning, your brain has rehearsed the experience as reality. Neural pathways strengthen around the imagined confidence, while old circuits of doubt begin to dissolve. Each night, the pattern deepens, until eventually confidence becomes your default state. You no longer struggle to summon it. It flows naturally, because your subconscious has accepted it as who you are. Confidence is not earned, it is chosen. Each night you are given the opportunity to install it into the deepest recesses of your being, and when you awaken, the world responds, not to the timid self you once carried, but to the radiant presence you have become. Chapter 14: The Magnetic Hormones of Desire. Desire is more than longing. It is chemistry, fire coursing through the bloodstream, a magnetic pull that draws reality toward you. Hidden within the body are hormones that govern attraction, connection, and the flow of abundance. Oxytocin, dopamine, endorphins. These invisible messengers shape not only how you feel, but what you attract. And while most people let them rise and fall by chance, you can learn to activate them with intention, programming your sleeping mind to radiate desire like a beacon that the universe cannot ignore. Every connection you have ever formed, every spark of attraction, every moment of joy has been mediated by these hormones. Oxytocin binds you to love and trust. Dopamine fuels excitement, reward, and pursuit. Endorphins create euphoria, dissolving pain into bliss. When these chemicals flow in harmony, your presence becomes magnetic. Others feel drawn to you, opportunities open, synchronicities multiply. Desire is not passive, it is chemistry made radiant. The night amplifies this magnetism. As you drift into sleep, your brain waves shift, and your subconscious becomes exquisitely sensitive to suggestion. Whatever emotion you generate in those moments, love, gratitude, excitement, fuses with your neurochemistry, programming the release of hormones that align with that state. If you fall asleep in loneliness, your body encodes it. If you fall asleep in joy, your chemistry shifts to reflect it. And when you awaken, your presence radiates accordingly, attracting experiences that mirror the vibration. Consider Rosalie, a woman who longed for love, yet carried the heaviness of rejection. Each night she lay in bed replaying her solitude, reinforcing the chemistry of absence. But one evening she chose a new practice. As she closed her eyes, she imagined herself embraced, laughter filling the room, joy surging through her veins. She whispered, "I am loved. I am magnetic. I am desired." Her body responded. Oxytocin flowed, dopamine ignited, endorphins soothed. Within weeks, her outer life reflected the shift. She attracted not only love, but opportunities that mirrored her new radiance. The practice of activating magnetic hormones is sacred and sensual. As you lie in bed, place a hand over your heart and another over your belly. Breathe deeply, feeling warmth spread through your body. Imagine golden light filling you, pulsing with every breath. Whisper words of desire, not longing, but fulfillment. I am radiant. I am magnetic. I am alive with love. Let yourself feel the chemistry, tingling warmth, expanding joy, a subtle current of excitement. As sleep approaches, hold the sensation as though it were truth. Your subconscious accepts this emotional rehearsal as real. During the night, your brain strengthens pathways associated with connection and joy. Your body awakens with hormones primed for attraction. Others feel it in your presence, though they cannot explain it. Opportunities gravitate toward you. Life itself bends toward your magnetic field. This is not fantasy. It is biology aligned with spirit. The ancients invoked this truth through ritual, chants, dances, scents, and sacred unions designed to awaken chemistry aligned with desire. You need no temple but your bed, no altar but your breath. Each night you can activate the hormones of magnetism, weaving them into your subconscious until they radiate effortlessly in waking life. Desire is not weakness. It is the engine of creation. And when your chemistry vibrates with it, reality cannot help but respond. Tonight, as you surrender to sleep, let your body become a vessel of radiant magnetism. Let your hormones sing with joy, connection, and love. And when dawn comes, you will awaken not as one who longs, but as one who attracts, a living magnet for every desire your soul carries. Chapter 15. Chemical Courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the ability to walk forward despite it. Yet most people wait for courage as though it were a gift, hoping it will arrive in moments of trial. They do not realize courage is chemistry, a precise orchestration of hormones and neurotransmitters, a symphony that can be conducted with intention. And nowhere is this orchestration more powerful than in the hours of sleep, when the subconscious mind rehearses reality and writes new codes into the body. By day, fear surges as cortisol, quickening the pulse, tightening the chest, paralyzing action. But by night, fear can be alchemized. When you sleep, your brain replays threats in dreams, integrating them, softening their sting, reshaping their meaning. This is why nightmares, though terrifying, often bring relief when you awaken. The fear has been processed, the danger rehearsed and survived. The sleeping mind does not simply escape fear, it transforms it. If guided with intention, sleep becomes the furnace where fear dissolves and courage is forged. Consider Walter, a man plagued by hesitation. Every choice felt overwhelming, every risk unbearable. He told himself he was weak, yet the truth was simpler. His chemistry had been conditioned toward fear. Then one evening he began a ritual. Before sleep, he whispered, "I am brave, I am steady, I am unshakable." He imagined himself walking into challenges with his head high, his chest open, his heart steady. At first the images felt foreign, but night after night, his subconscious rehearsed them until they became familiar. His chemistry followed. Cortisol lowered, dopamine rose, adrenaline sharpened into focus instead of panic. Within weeks, Walter no longer waited for courage. It lived in him, installed through sleep. The secret is in the way the subconscious encodes suggestion. The body obeys the mind's instructions. When you fall asleep feeding your mind images of bravery, your nervous system adapts, rehearsing courage as though it were already lived. By morning, you awaken with the biology of a courageous person, even if you had never acted bravely before. The rehearsal in sleep becomes the foundation of waking reality. This is chemical courage, the knowledge that fear is not your enemy, but raw material. It is a flood of energy waiting to be directed. Left unchecked, it paralyzes. Channeled in sleep, it transforms into fuel. The practice is sacred yet simple. Before bed, recall a fear that has haunted you. Do not flee from it. Hold it in your awareness, then reshape it. Imagine yourself facing the fear with strength. See your body steady, your breath calm, your voice clear. Whisper words of power. I am fearless. I am capable. I am guided. Let your body respond to these images. Let your chest expand as though already victorious. Then surrender to sleep, carrying this vision as the final offering to your subconscious. By morning, your chemistry shifts. Fear's grip loosens and courage rises as instinct. Each repetition strengthens the pathways, until eventually courage becomes your natural state. You do not force it, you embody it. And when life's trials appear, you meet them not with trembling, but with steady fire. Courage has always been within you. Sleep is the key that unlocks it. Tonight, as you surrender, choose to program not fear, but bravery. Trust that your subconscious, vast and obedient, will carry your vision into the deepest layers of your being. And when you awaken, courage will not be something you hope for. It will be the chemistry that flows through your veins, the quiet fire that carries you forward, unshakable and free. Chapter 16. The Dopamine Ladders. Every desire, every pursuit, every step toward success is driven by a single force: dopamine, the messenger of reward. It is the spark that makes you rise from bed, the fuel that carries you toward goals, the light that ignites when possibility appears. Without dopamine, the world feels flat, effort becomes impossible, and even joy loses its shine. Yet most people allow this force to rise and fall by chance, bound by habits that drain it instead of amplify it. The truth is this: dopamine is not random. It is a ladder you can climb, and the most powerful way to build its rungs is through the programming of your sleeping mind. Dopamine does not respond to effort alone. It responds to vision. When you imagine success, when you anticipate joy, dopamine begins to flow, energizing your body and sharpening your focus. This is why the final thoughts before sleep are so critical. They instruct your brain what to pursue, what to value, what to expect. If you drift into slumber rehearsing failure, your dopamine system encodes apathy. If you drift into sleep rehearsing success, your dopamine system encodes drive. The difference is instant, and the results are profound. Consider Adrian, a man trapped in cycles of lethargy. His dreams had withered, his ambition gone. Each day felt heavy, his mind clouded by disinterest. Then he discovered the secret of dopamine ladders. Each night, instead of collapsing into despair, he built images of his future, step by step. He saw himself taking small actions, rising early, speaking clearly, making progress. Each rung of the ladder was clear, each step infused with anticipation. As he drifted into sleep, dopamine flowed, rehearsing excitement instead of emptiness. Within weeks, his mornings carried fire. He awoke eager, energized, alive with drive. His outer world soon mirrored the chemistry built in his nights. The subconscious does not distinguish between small victories and great ones. Both release dopamine when vividly rehearsed. This is why celebrating even imagined success before sleep is so powerful. Your brain encodes the feeling of progress, and progress fuels momentum. Each night you can climb higher, building rung upon rung, until your waking life reflects the structure rehearsed in dreams. The practice begins with clarity. Before sleep, choose one desire you wish to pursue. Break it into steps, small rungs of the ladder. Then, as you lie in bed, imagine yourself climbing step by step, each rung bringing joy and anticipation. Feel the spark of reward in your chest, as though it were already yours. Whisper, "I am moving forward. I am rising higher. I am unstoppable." Let the emotion swell until sleep carries it deep into your subconscious. By morning, your dopamine system has been primed. You awaken with energy to pursue the steps you envisioned. Each day becomes infused with momentum, not forced but natural, because your brain already rehearsed the rewards. Over time, these ladders carry you from stagnation to unstoppable growth. Dopamine is the fuel of destiny, but it must be directed. Left to chance, it binds you to shallow pleasures and fleeting distractions. Guided with intention, it becomes the ladder that lifts you into the life you desire. Each night you can build it higher, step by step. until your waking reality shines with the fire you rehearsed in sleep. Tonight, you hold the choice. You may descend into apathy, or you may climb into brilliance. The dopamine ladders wait, rising into the infinite. All you must do is take the first step and trust that your sleeping mind will carry you upward into the future you have chosen. Chapter 17. Epigenetic Dreamwork. Deep within every cell of your body lies a code, an ancient script written by the lives of those who came before you. This code, your DNA, is more than the blueprint of your body. It is a library of memory, potential, and limitation. For generations, it has carried triumphs and traumas, abundance and scarcity, health and disease. Yet modern science now confirms what mystics knew. This code is not fixed. Experiences can switch genes on or off, shaping how your body responds to life. And in the fertile hours of night, your subconscious mind can reach into this code, touching the very switches of your biology. This is epigenetic dreamwork, the art of rewriting your lineage while you sleep. Most people live as though their genetics were destiny, bound by the illnesses of parents, the limitations of ancestors. They carry the weight of invisible inheritance, never realizing that the sleeping mind can reshape these patterns. During sleep, your body restores itself. DNA repairs, cells regenerate, hormones rebalance. But beyond biology, the subconscious can also access ancestral memory, rewriting stories that live in the very marrow of your bones. Consider Eleanor, who carried the shadow of poverty, though she lived in a world of opportunity. Her great-grandparents had known famine, and though she had food in abundance, she felt an invisible fear of loss. Each night her subconscious rehearsed scarcity, keeping her chained to frugality and fear. Then she learned to enter sleep with intention. Before drifting off, she lit a candle and whispered, "I release the fears of my ancestors. I claim abundance for myself and those who came before me." She imagined her lineage standing behind her, smiling as she received wealth and joy. Night after night, she carried this vision into her dreams. Within months, her behavior shifted. She spent with trust, invested with clarity, received with gratitude. The pattern of scarcity dissolved, not only for her but for her children, who no longer inherited the same silent fear. Epigenetic dreamwork is not fantasy. Studies show trauma can alter gene expression for generations, but healing can do the same. When you sleep with intention, you not only soothe your own mind, but also offer transformation to those who came before and after you. Your dreams become rituals of lineage healing, reaching backward through bloodlines and forward into futures not yet born. The practice is sacred. As you prepare for sleep, visualize a golden cord stretching from your heart through time, connecting you to every ancestor. Whisper words of release. I free us from fear. I free us from limitation. I embrace the gifts of our line. Then envision a radiant future self standing ahead, embodying the qualities you wish to pass on: health, abundance, love. Allow both directions to merge within you as you drift into slumber. Your subconscious carries this imagery into the night, weaving it into your biology. Genes respond, chemistry shifts, old stories dissolve. You awaken lighter, as though a burden has lifted, as though you are no longer carrying weight that never belonged to you. Epigenetic dreamwork is the bridge between science and spirit, between biology and destiny. Each night you can choose, repeat the inheritance of the past, or write a new story into your cells. Sleep offers the key. All you must do is open the door and step into the laboratory of your lineage. Chapter 18. The Midnight Reset Button. There comes a time when the weight of the day becomes unbearable, when thoughts spin endlessly, when the body aches from tension, and the mind feels trapped in cycles of fatigue. Most people collapse into bed carrying this heaviness, only to awaken with it still upon them. They believe rest will free them, yet without conscious intention, sleep simply repeats the same cycle. But within the mystery of night lies a secret, a reset button hidden in the heart of slumber. Pressed with awareness, it clears the clutter of mind and body, restoring you to wholeness before the dawn. The midnight reset button is not an object, but a state, a choice to release everything that no longer serves. It is the art of surrender carried into the subconscious, where it becomes alchemy. For the body, it is detoxification. For the mind, it is cleansing. For the spirit, it is renewal. With this reset, you do not simply rest, you are reborn. Consider Daniel, a man plagued by relentless anxiety. Each night his body tossed with tension, his mind raced with unfinished lists. Sleep brought no peace. He woke as weary as when he lay down. Then one evening he learned the ritual of the reset. Before bed he sat quietly, breathing deeply, and imagined a great golden button glowing before him. He whispered, "I release, I let go, I am free." With each exhale he pressed the button in his mind, watching worries dissolve into light. That night his sleep was different. He awoke refreshed, his mind clear, his heart calm. Night after night he repeated the ritual until the button became instinct. Stress no longer lingered. Renewal became his default. The midnight reset works because the subconscious holds on to impressions long after the conscious has moved on. Every insult, every worry, every doubt becomes clutter in the hidden vault, but sleep allows release. By consciously instructing the subconscious to let go, you press the reset button, clearing the vault for new beginnings. Science supports this truth. During deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid washes through the brain, clearing toxins and waste. But beyond the physical, the mind too can be cleansed, if you choose to guide it. Old emotions, limiting beliefs, patterns of fear, all can be released with intention before slumber. The practice is both simple and profound. As you prepare for sleep, sit or lie comfortably, and imagine holding all your worries in your hands. Visualize them as stones, heavy and dark. One by one, place them upon the glowing reset button in your mind. With each placement, whisper, "I release this." When you have placed them all, press the button. See a wave of golden light wash through you, dissolving every burden. Then allow sleep to claim you, carrying the reset into the deepest chambers of your being. By morning, you awaken lighter. The heaviness no longer binds you. Your body feels restored, your mind clear, your spirit fresh. The reset button does not erase your life's challenges, but it restores your strength, allowing you to meet them anew. Each night you are offered this choice. Carry your burdens into tomorrow or release them in the sacred hours of midnight. Sleep is not escape, it is reset. And when you press the button with intention, you reclaim the power to begin again, every single day. Chapter 19. The Synchronicity Serum. There are moments in life when the world seems to conspire in your favor, when coincidences unfold so perfectly they cannot be explained away as chance. You think of someone and they call. You dream of a symbol and it appears the next day on a street sign. You imagine an opportunity and it presents itself as though summoned. These moments are synchronicities, threads of alignment between your inner world and the fabric of reality. What most do not know is that synchronicity is not random. It is a response, and it can be summoned through sleep, for the night is where your subconscious prepares the chemistry of alignment, the serum that magnetizes coincidence into destiny. During the day, your mind is scattered, distracted by noise and endless choices. Synchronicity cannot find a clear channel in such chaos. But at night, when your conscious thoughts surrender, your subconscious weaves order from the fragments. It connects dots unseen, patterns unnoticed, preparing you to perceive and attract what matches your deepest intentions. The serum of synchronicity is brewed in the dream state, a cocktail of neurochemistry and suggestion that primes you to walk into a world where everything feels orchestrated. Consider Amelia, who longed for a new path in life but felt lost in uncertainty. Each day seemed directionless, her desires clouded by confusion. One night, instead of falling into restless thought, she whispered before sleep, "Show me the signs. Align me with my path." She imagined herself walking through a world where symbols guided her steps, where opportunities revealed themselves effortlessly. That night her dreams were filled with arrows, stars, and doors opening. The next day she noticed a poster on the street that seemed to echo her dream, pointing her toward a class that would change her life. From then on, signs appeared daily, leading her step by step. The serum of synchronicity had been released, and the universe answered. The truth is that synchronicity is not created, it is perceived. Life is always filled with signs, but your chemistry, your attention, your subconscious programming determine whether you see them. The serum you brew at night determines the world you awaken into. If your last thoughts before sleep are fear, you will see reasons to confirm your fear. If they are gratitude and intention, you will see alignment and opportunity. Sleep programs your eyes to notice, your heart to respond, your body to move in harmony with destiny. The practice of summoning synchronicity is both mystical and precise. Before bed, take a moment of stillness. Write down one symbol, one sign, one feeling you wish to encounter the next day. Perhaps a feather, a song, a color, a phrase. Whisper, "Bring me this sign. Show me alignment." As you close your eyes, imagine the world itself arranging to meet your request. See the streets, the people, the objects shifting into place. Feel excitement rising in your chest, the certainty that the sign is already on its way. Then surrender to sleep, carrying this intention into the dream. By morning, your subconscious is attuned. The serum flows through your awareness, amplifying the connections between your inner state and the outer world. The sign appears not by magic but by alignment, by the opening of perception. And when you see it, you confirm the connection, strengthening the pattern, inviting more synchronicities to unfold. This is the terrifyingly instant truth. Your reality is shaped not only by what exists, but by what you are programmed to notice. Sleep is the alchemist's chamber where this programming occurs. Each night you can choose to live in a random world, or to brew the serum that reveals life as a tapestry of meaning, guiding you toward your highest path. Chapter 20, The Awakening Dawn. Every night is a descent into mystery, and every morning is a return. But dawn is not only the rising of the sun, it is the rising of the self, the moment when all you have planted in the fertile soil of sleep begins to emerge into form. Too many wake without awareness, rushing into the day as though the night were nothing more than absence. They fail to see that dawn is the moment of harvest, when the subconscious hands its work to the conscious mind. The awakening dawn is not passive. It is a ritual, a chance to claim the reality your sleep has prepared. The hours of night are filled with suggestions, visions, emotions, and scripts encoded in your chemistry. But if you do not awaken with awareness, much of their power remains hidden. The bridge between dream and waking must be crossed with intention. To rise at dawn consciously is to gather the gifts of the night, to weave them into the fabric of the day. Without this practice, the treasures of sleep are lost, like smoke in the wind. Consider Jonah, who spent months practicing nighttime programming yet saw little change. He visualized success, whispered affirmations, and dreamed of abundance, but his days remained the same. Then one morning, guided by intuition, he paused before leaving his bed. He recalled the dream he had just lived, held it in his heart, and whispered, "I carry this into the day." That single act of remembrance shifted everything. His dream symbols began appearing in waking life. His affirmations echoed in his mind. His actions aligned with the reality rehearsed in sleep. The dawn had become his bridge, and his transformation finally took root. The awakening dawn is the sacred transition where you embody what your subconscious has rehearsed. It is not enough to dream of courage. You must rise with it. It is not enough to whisper abundance at night. You must awaken with gratitude. The chemistry of sleep prepares the ground, but dawn is the planting, the moment when conscious choice seals the work of the subconscious. The practice begins the instant your eyes open. Do not rush. Do not leap into distraction. Instead, breathe deeply and recall your final intention from the night before. Whisper it again, affirm it again, embody it again. If you dreamed, ask yourself, what was the feeling, the symbol, the message? Carry it with you as a guide, even if you do not yet understand it. Place your hand over your heart and whisper, I awaken into my chosen reality. By doing this, you align your conscious mind with the programming of your subconscious. Your chemistry, already shifted by the night, flows seamlessly into your waking actions. The gap between dream and day disappears, and your life becomes one continuous act of creation. The awakening dawn is also the time of gratitude. Whatever sleep has given, peace, vision, healing must be acknowledged. Gratitude amplifies it, sealing the program with emotion, ensuring it is carried into the day. Without gratitude, the gift fades. With it, the gift multiplies. Each morning, you are offered the choice to awaken blindly, letting the treasures of night dissolve, or to awaken with awareness, gathering them into your heart and carrying them into destiny. The sun does not simply rise outside your window. It rises within you, illuminating the path your subconscious has prepared. The awakening dawn is the crown of the night's work, the moment when sleep becomes life, when vision becomes action, when dream becomes reality. Each day is born here in this sacred threshold. If you claim it, the world bends to meet you. If you ignore it, you step into a day unshaped, unclaimed, random. Awaken with awareness, awaken with gratitude, awaken as the dreamer who knows the night has already written the script. Then walk into the dawn with the certainty that you are not merely living, you are creating. Every breath a continuation of the dream.